point in that view, but that's not accurate. In fact,
1.1 billion.
In fact, there are
expenditures that are poorly justified. Even Paul O'Neill from Treasury.
In fact, the Life Sciences Initiative, for example, which has a component of tax credits in it. It's not the centerpiece of the bill, but has a component. Is something else we've had to curtail. A very special and important program from my perspective, something I put in that is getting us growth. And I will also say that of all of the tax programs that we've put in, we have clawbacks, which is different from previous administrations.
They're very small. They have no claws.
Well, I'll tell you, if you don't create the jobs, then you owe the Commonwealth money, and that is a difference in approach that we brought.
We're getting off point, and I'll give you the final.
I'm just going to say that, you know, state spending's gone up by $3 billion, almost $3.5 billion over the past 4 years. And a big piece of the way the budget got paid for was stimulus money and rainy day fund money, neither of which are going to be around next year. Next year, we face a $2 billion deficit. I put a bunch of proposals on the table on how to deal with it. What the voters want to know is how we're going to solve problems now, not problems tomorrow or the day after or 15 years ago. The way we have for 4 years, Charlie, by stepping up and making the decisions when it's time to make those decisions, and by growing. And we're getting growth in revenue. And you talk about you talk about growth in spending. Our growth in spending is half what it was when you were in charge of this. And we never spent more than we took in, not once.
And you never dealt with a drop in revenue and a fiscal crisis.
What people want from us, Charlie, is they want us to be straight with them. If it's bad news, you got to deliver the bad news. You can't paper over it with a tax increase. You can't paper over it with a memo. You can't hide it from anyone. You have to be straight, and that's what people are looking for.
So what's your plan to deal with the $2 billion problem at the next? I put real proposals. I'm the only person. You guys haven't put any real proposals on the table to deal with this.
We're going to move on. Jill Stein, I have great admiration for people who put themselves up for public office. But at some time, real politics has to be true, and it has to become part of the equation. And I think, when I think of third-party or independent candidates, I think of Ralph Nader, 2000. His votes in Florida cost Al Gore the presidency.
Al Gore won.
His votes in Florida cost Al Gore the presidency. Third-party or independent candidates historically take votes away from candidates who most closely agree with them ideologically. If the votes you get wind up costing the candidate most sympathetic to your causes the election, would you feel your candidacy hurt your cause?
Not at all. I wouldn't be running if that was the case. I see myself as the one outsider in a race with three wonderful insiders, all very distinguished gentlemen, but very much representing a Beacon Hill point of view. They all support casinos. They all support more of the...
casino.
A casino, okay, but you won't have a choice. Once they're in the door, they'll decide how many they want. Historically, casinos, they all support charter schools pitted against public schools in a way that we are dismantling our public education infrastructure. They all support more of the corporate tax break economy, which is really robbing our budget of billions of dollars a year, so we can't support the things that everybody and all businesses need and small businesses need. And finally, they all support the same health care elephant in the room. It is the one area of the budget that has grown. Everything else has shrunk. 10 years ago, health care was 35% of the budget. Now it's 50% of the budget. Everything else is shrinking to compensate for it. So I think it's really important that we debate these issues. If I weren't in it, we would not be having a debate.
Tim Cahill, maybe this question is most applicable to you. If the votes you wind up getting wind up costing one of these other candidates the election, would you feel that your positions are the positions you believe in?
No, because the position I believe in is bringing independent thought and independent leadership to state government and stopping the games and the political partisanship that goes back and forth.
And you made that point a lot, and so has Jill Stein made. Right. But the question is, at some point, real politics has to enter into this.
Yeah, but real politics is giving people the choices. We elected Washington, we elected Adams. There was no political parties in those days. Those were multi-candidate races. Jefferson came about from a split vote, and I believe that's what our founders were looking at. They were looking for people to step up. There was no mention of party politics or parties in the Constitution or in the Bill of Rights. Those formed, and they've come, and they've worked well in some cases. It's not working well right now, Charlie. But what people are looking at, or what's happening, is you've got the Washington insiders spending, as you said earlier before we started here, millions and millions of dollars. It's coming from corporations, some on the Democratic side for the Democratic Governors Association, tons of it on the Republican side from the Republican Governors Association. People are coming from Washington to tell us how to vote, and they're losing or minimizing their choices, trying to tell people that they don't have a choice, that their vote will not count unless it goes to one of the major party candidates, and that's wrong. I mean, in every other world or every other business we're in, competition is good, but for some reason, here in politics or in government, competition is bad unless it's the two parties.